and had one every year from 50 to 60, my cancer would have been diagnosed much earlier when it was curable. And I would have had a much different outcome and be leading a very different life to the one I'm leading now. So we are incredibly disappointed by the decision.
Now we can hear now and also speak to Winston Carrington, who's from Withington. Winston has also been a survivor of prostate cancer, but he's also the face of a charity called Can Survive, which is a black cancer charity group and also support group. Winston, good evening, and thank you so much for coming on to BBC Radio Manchester to speak to us about this.
Oh, good evening. Thanks for asking me to come on. Go on.
I'm going to start off, Winston, by asking you to tell me about your story and your journey with prostate cancer.
Well, how I found out I had prostate cancer, I was 67 at the time, and I was living with somebody, and I wasn't getting that early morning glory. And I went to my doctor, and I said to my doctor, look, doc, this is what's going on. Can I have something, some Viagra, or to say it straight? And she said, no, let's do an examination. So she did the examination, and she says, your prostate feels like a walnut. And I said, well, I didn't even know where my prostate was until she did the examination. And she said, it feels a bit like a walnut. I said, well, what is it supposed to feel like? She says, if you put your finger to the tip of your nose and gently press the tip of your nose, that's what your prostate's supposed to feel like. She says, obviously it feels like a walnut. So then she said, I want to send you for a blood test. Went on for a blood test, and PSA came back, it was high. Then I had a biopsy, and the biopsy came back, I think that was 52% of whatever they took was cancerous, was prostate cancer. So then I went off to Christie's Hospital, and I was under Christie's Hospital for a little while. I had brachytherapy 2, which was where they actually go into the prostate through the perineum, and they actually target each individual cell. So that was that, and that was 2018, because I was diagnosed in 2017 in the December, and I had my procedure, I think it was in the March, I think it was March 27th or something like that.
What's your reaction to hearing this news that the screening won't be routine in place for prostate cancer for majority of men? And I'm going to bring in the statistics that I said before, that prostate cancer, the higher chance over 50 if you come from a black ethnic background, if you've got family history of the disease, or a close relative has had breast cancer or ovarian cancer. So what do you think when you hear this reaction to this news?
Well, I think it's really poor. I think it's really poor show, because the thing is, I mean, I didn't even know that I could have had that examination many years ago, and I didn't find out. The only reason I found it was that if there wasn't a screening in place, I would have picked that up much earlier. You know? So I think from my personal point of view, excuse me, I feel that they're out of order, and I think it's something that should be looked into again, because it's about saving lives. Because at the end of the day, when you get, it's really difficult. When you actually find out you have prostate cancer, period, yeah, it is really, really, really something that you just, well, for me, my world just fell apart when I was told, you know. And I said it was only because I knew my body, that I actually was lucky enough to catch it early, you know. So if I didn't know my body, and if I hadn't thought the way I thought, you know, if I'd have gone to the street to buy whatever I was going to buy, I might not be here today. Yeah. So that screening is really important for people like myself and other people and other guys when they get to our age, when there's certain things that are not working right. It might just be that they've got cancer, or prostate cancer, or prostatitis, or something like that. You know, so I think the screening is really important. And I don't know, I'm very disappointed. I'm really very, very disappointed.
The other thing around this, and I'm speaking about some of my friends that I've got, because I'm in my 40s, so I know that they're around the same age, that they've got this preconception about what the test is going to be like, that they think it's going to be invasive and they're scared to have it done, and that anxiety is there. But the test that you can get, especially for a male, it's quite quick and easy, isn't it?
Well, first of all, I think now they're actually looking into the blood, so they've actually detected it through blood as well. However, if you think about this, and, you know, by the time the man drops his trousers and picks them up, it's done. Mm. That's how quick it is. It's just seconds, you know, and those seconds can actually maybe save your life. You know, so I think, you know, and because don't forget, it's 1 in 4 black men that will be diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yeah. With
you know, so
yeah.
Go on.
With working with the charity Can Survive, are you seeing that more people are now, especially men, go in to get this check? Because I feel like there's more narrative out there now about the statistics.
Well, yeah, because the word is getting around, and it is getting out there. Because what we've got to do is try and stop the ignorance, because a lot of the guys are not going because of ignorance, you know, and a lot of guys are dying because of ignorance, you know. So yeah, the word is getting out there. Can Survive is doing an amazing job, you know. Honestly, I'm gonna shout out Can Survive, because Can Survive saved me mentally. You see, because the thing is about cancer as well, all cancers, or I suppose all illnesses, when you go through the mechanical part, like the hospital part, I call that the mechanical part, yeah, and you finish from there, then what do you do after that? You know, you need somewhere where you can go and be with like-minded people who've been through similar experiences. And that's what Can Survive does. Can Survive is somewhere where anyone who's had... we said it's black. Initially, it started out looking towards the black community, because there was nothing there like that for the black community. We had Maggie's, and you've got a lot of other charities there. Yeah. Christie's, and there's a lot of the charities there. If I stumble a bit, I've had a stroke, so I'm trying to formulate my words well in advance of what I'm thinking. Yeah, so, yeah, and for us, but now, it's 10 years, we've been there 10 years, you know, and now when you walk in Can Survive, you see everybody in there. You see white, Asian, you see Chinese, you see everybody. Everyone comes to Can Survive because we're like a little family, you know. I swear to God, I mean, we go out on excursions, and I mean, we was in York the other day at the this week Wednesday, we were in York at the market, you know, the Christmas market, and those are things which help us to feel that you still can produce, you still got some kind of use. Yeah, you're not just thrown to the wayside because you've had cancer, and you're just like, you no longer. Because a lot of people, I think, when they find they've got cancer, it's a very lonely place. You know, and a lot of people don't like to talk, even tell people they've got cancer, because we've got people there with us that didn't even tell the partners they had cancer until the very last second. Yeah. You know, so it's important for places where people, for organisations like Can Survive to be there, to pick up where the hospital lets you go, you know. But going back to the testing that they're not going to do. No, that's really, really sad. You know, it's a really sad day, you know, for prostate cancer. It's a very sad day.
Winston, thank you so much for coming on, for sharing your story, but also as well for being an advocate for men to go and get checked for prostate cancer. It's been really good to speak to you and to hear your perspective on that. That's Winston Carrington, who's from Withington, also a prostate cancer survivor, the face of the charity Can Survive.